steeped in pride.
Let's smoke up. Let's talk up.
Might like us, man. We the Raiders. We bleed black.
You know what I like to do? Just follow me on this one.
Nation, what's good? What's good? Is there hope for our Las Vegas Raiders coming up against the Ravens? Week 2. I know everybody's down in the dumps. We should have won a game that we lost, but we have to move on to the next game. And the next game doesn't look good. All odds are against us, right? But I'm here to tell you that there is a chance. So let's check it out. Let's break it down. First off, decision making. Decision making is huge, especially for the quarterback position, right? Like, you can't throw to invisible people or fumble or whatever you want to call that. You can't have tip balls at the line of scrimmage. You have to make smart decisions. Maybe we don't have the right quarterback making those smart decisions, but we have to stick with what we got and let it play out and see what it turns out to be. But I think there was a lot of positives, coming out of last week's game. Who's in here? What's good? I think there was a lot of positives coming out of last week's game. The offensive line didn't look great, but there was times where they didn't look very bad. They gave up 16 pressures, absolutely horrible, 4 sacks. You don't want that from your offense. But we're supposed to have a mobile quarterback that's supposed to be able to get away from a pressure and avoid pressure. And he wasn't doing that. He wasn't trusting the receivers. So, we have a lot of work coming up. Lamar Jackson had more yards passing and almost as much yards running as the whole entire Chargers team last week. So that's a big, scary thing, especially when you have guys that just can't tackle. Divine Diablo, man, as big as you are and as fast as you are, my guy, you have to be able to tackle people. You're reading the plays, you're there, and you just whiff on the tackle. Like, wrap people up, use those big arms to wrap around somebody, take them to the ground. Like, you can't have 6, 7 missed tackles in a game. 2 of those ended up scores, 1 a touchdown, the other one led to a field goal. Those are just big possession losses that you can't have. Like, you can't give up big plays like that because you can't tackle, especially when you're there. Like, and not only him, our safeties that are supposed to be, great, did not do a very good job at tackling down the end of the game. Yeah, I know you're tired, but we're supposed to have depth, and you're supposed to be able to sub guys in and out if they need a breather. So you can't use that as an excuse as they were tired. They were in there the whole game. The fact was, a rookie made Trayvon Merrick and Marcus Epps. Bro, I laugh every time I watched it because, I got to break down tape. But every time I watched, I was just like, what are y'all doing? Are you playing tag out there? Like, you're supposed to be safeties. Isn't the safety's job to smack somebody in the mouth? Like, that is your job. You're the last line of defense. And for him to go through the second last line of defense and the last line of defense to score a touchdown is just absolutely horrible. We cannot have that, especially going up against Lamar Jackson, who Devontae Adams says is the best runner ever with the ball in his hands. Like, that is a huge statement. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we have to make some roster changes, position changes, scheme changes with different guys that can stop the run, because obviously the run in the fourth quarter just killed us. They just ran the ball smash mouth completely down our throat. We had no answer. Man had 10 carries for, I think, 138 or 35 yards. Just absolutely nasty. Then we go sign guys, that are first round picks that we're taking a chance on. I don't understand taking a chance. What up, Ted? Salute. What you got to say? Of course, they're starting Garner. Well, yeah, you have to start Garner at this point. You don't have a choice. I mean, you have to see what Garner has. Nick, what's up? Salute, salute. I mean, you have to see what Garner can do. That it's a team sport, so you can't blame one guy. Definitely, 2 turnovers is not going to help, but 16 pressures and 4 sacks absolutely does not help either. So, what's good, Nick? What's going on, man? How you been? What do you think our chances are coming up against the Ravens? But yeah, like I was saying, so Lamar Jackson, if you pressure Lamar Jackson and you get pressure on Lamar, which we can absolutely get pressure, there's no doubt about that, right? I mean, we were in Justin Herbert's face pretty much the whole entire first half, most of the third quarter, and even towards the fourth quarter, not as much because they just ran the ball and they didn't pass much. But when they were in pass protection and passing downs, we were in his face every single time he threw the ball. So I think we can pressure Ray Love. What's good? What's good? If we can just pressure Lamar Jackson into making mistakes, because he does make mistakes. As long as you pressure him, he'll make mistakes. Like, watch my video coming out. I'll probably drop it tomorrow. Breaking down Lamar Jackson, what our defense has to do to stop him besides tackling, because we can't have the missed tackles. Like I said, Divine Diablo, I've said it over and over again. That dude looks like he can't tackle a mannequin in Macy's. Like, it's just absolutely horrible when you have 7 missed tackles in a football game and you're the starting linebacker and there's guys behind you that want to tackle, that willing to tackle, that can tackle, like Amari Gainer. I know our rookie's hurt in Eichenberg, but there was a reason, I guess, we kept 5 or 6 linebackers, but play them, put them in the game, right? Like, give them a chance. I mean, let's see what these kids can do. Ray Love, salute, salute, Raiders. You shared the live. Thanks, appreciate it. But yeah, let's get these kids in the game. Let's see what these young men can do, because we've seen what Amari Gainer can do definitely in the preseason. Like, the man played Mike linebacker. He can play Sam. He could play Will. He can play Amari. He could play whoever he has to play, really. So put the man in. You can even put him at defensive end. He played defensive end, I think, at North Carolina. D Menace was good, was good. Amari Gainer, I thought, he's probably a little bit light at defensive end, but he definitely has the speed and the quickness, right? If these guys ain't performing, but to keep signing guys that are, we're just taking chances on. Not everybody's going to be a Jack Jones, right? Not everybody's going to be that hit guy where you can bring in these guys that aren't solid on other teams and make moves. But what have the guys done that we brought in so far? We brought in a corner, we brought in a safety, we brought in a defensive lineman. I know it takes time to get these guys on the practice squad, but we don't have time, right? It's the season has started, bro. It's amongst us. For sure, for sure. Good luck with the move. It's not going to be a long season, though. Check it out. Look, there's hope. There's hope. I'm just going with the bad right now, but there's hope. So, trying to cover Lamar Jackson is horrible. And then you got, of course, where's my little branded thing? Start fast. It looked towards the end of the game like we started to pick it up. Zeus started getting a couple yards after the fumble. Even before the fumble, he had a big play that was called back on a bull crap call. Michael Mayer had both hands inside, pushed the dude completely around, and he ended up on his back because the man was holding him, and they called him for a hold, and the call got called back. But, it is what it is. We got to move past that. But I thought there were holes in the run game, and there were chances for us to make plays. Like, I thought all of our completions, to Devontae Adams, of course, there was a couple where he's doing this, and I don't know what Gardner's looking at. He took a sack instead of taking a chance, but we'll get to that later. But other than that, I thought, other than that, I thought there was guys open a lot. People want to, talk shit about Luke Getsy's offense and say Luke Getsy, we didn't call a lot of 12 personnel, and there's a reason. The Baltimore Ravens against the Kansas City Chiefs ran 12 personnel 52.7% of the time, bro. So 52.7% of the time is that's more than half your snaps, right? Running 12 personnel. So obviously their defense knows 12 personnel, and we had to change the system up. So coming up next week or this week, you know, I mean, against Baltimore, it's going to be the same thing. We run 12 personnel, 12 personnel. So running a lot of 12 personnel, I don't know. We're not going to be doing the same this week, but if we do, I think we need 13 personnel look pretty good. And there's a lot of things that we need to do in the running game. We'll get to that later, but we definitely need to cover and stop this man right here, bro. He is a run game destroyer. Roboquan Smith. Raekwon Smith is an absolute dog out there, and he held Pacheco to 44 yards, I believe. Pacheco is one of the best running backs, in my opinion, in the NFL. He runs, low pad level. He's strong. He doesn't quit. He just constantly keeps running. Let me get back to the chat over here. But so, the man just constantly keeps running. He's always moving his feet. And they held that dude to 44 yards. So if we can run to the outside, like I thought we were running a wide zone. A wide zone means everybody moving one way and the man trying to get out to the flats, get to the hashes and get up the sideline. And I think that's what we didn't do enough of last week. A lot of our runs were to the middle, and the right side, let's be honest, yes, they gave up the least amount of pressures in the pass protection, but they also were the worst in run blocking. So somehow we need to shore up this line and figure out which side we can roll out and pass on and which side we can run on, because if you can't run on both sides of your offensive line, that's not going to be good no matter who we face, even if it's the Carolina Panthers, right? So we have to be able to run the ball on both sides of the line. You can't have one side weaker than the other. Maybe they need to move Whitehair to over to right guard and move Parham back to left guard. I don't know what needs to happen until JPJ can get out there, but there definitely has to be some kind of change on the offensive line. Maybe they just need another week to gel. I don't know. Like, I'm not out there in practice. I don't, we don't get to see much. They're not showing much. Minshew broke records, the first quarterback in NFL history to throw a fumble. Come on, man. Actually, Minshew did break records, though. He was the first, I believe, the first Raider quarterback to start and throw for over 230 yards or whatever he threw for, but to throw for over 200 and something yards in his debut as a Raider, which I don't know if that's a fact, but that's what I heard and read and seen, which is crazy. I mean, Garner had a good game, but he also had a horrible game on the other hand, and it wasn't just the turnovers. It wasn't the interception. The fumble was ridiculous. Like, if you're, just grab the ball and run. You're a mobile quarterback. They brought you in to be a mobile quarterback, right? To make plays with your feet, to roll out of the pocket. So why are you fumbling the ball, trying to throw it if you don't have possession? If you don't have possession of the ball, cup the ball and run. You're supposed to be a mobile quarterback. So the fumble pass, backwards pass, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, no, I'm not sharing my Alfredo fettuccine. What? Why not, bro? Now you're making me hungry. Coming here talking like that. Well, damn. But yeah, so I don't even know. But yeah, you gotta pull that ball down and run with it. You can't make stupid plays like that. The tip ball for an interception, that's gonna happen when you're 6'1" and all your offensive linemen are 6'5". That's why we put him in there, to get out of the pocket, right? And I didn't see that. I think they need to, for us to even have a chance against the Ravens, I think they need to unhandcuff Gardner Minshew, because his job is not in the pocket. He's not great. His pocket presence is not great. It's not great at all. That's why his whole career, most of his plays, if you look at his highlights, if you go back and look at all his tape, almost all of Gardner Minshew's plays are rolling out of the pocket and making big plays, passing right before the line of scrimmage. That's what Patrick Mahomes does. That's what Lamar Jackson does. That's what Jordan Love does. That's what all these mobile quarterbacks do. They don't try to run and get hurt no more. They just scramble out of the pocket and make everybody break contain. And then they throw across the field or over their shoulder or underhand or whatever they do, but they make some kind of magic. So we need to see magic to even have a chance in this game. Garner can't be handcuffed. And I thought them trying to make him stay in the pocket was just not his place to be at all. Walt, salute. Thanks for pulling up. Anybody else I missed? Show with his legs and reads. Bro, let's talk about that too. His reads were horrible. Like I said, there was guys open all over the field, and it wasn't just a offensive line, giving up contain and having guys in his face, because he's supposed to be a mobile quarterback again, right? That's what you do. Like, the one thing I don't like about Garner is they kept him in the shotgun a lot, but his dropbacks, with Aiden O'Connell, he does that Patrick Mahomes 7, 8, 9, 10 step drop back because they know they have a strong enough arm to throw it down the field if they have to, if there's a guy open and they can get the ball to him. But Garner, I don't see him dropping back far enough sometimes. There's a lot of those sacks were just because he wasn't reading the defense. I never seen him point out anybody one time or change the play at the line of scrimmage. Maybe I missed it, but I see guys coming in motion, but he's not calling no plays. I didn't hear him out there mic'd up calling any plays or changing the play at the line of scrimmage. So the motion plays, man, I thought there was too many motion plays, like right when the ball was snapped, and you can tell pretty much in every one of those motion plays they were in zone because nobody followed the guy in motion, which kind of should let him know, obviously, that they're in zone and it's not man coverage, and you should probably roll out of the pocket because you're not going to be able to stay in the pocket for 5, 6, 7 seconds. We just didn't have that offensive line, and they haven't gelled that well together. So Cowtown, Luda, what's good? So with the offensive line, not gelling and not having as much time together, I thought that was the whole reason we were going with Gardner. The coaches even said we're starting Gardner because of his knowledge, because of his awareness, because he can make plays with his feet, the way he took over the locker room, which that really doesn't matter because that doesn't show on the field. We need a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field. Minshew shit the bed. I mean, bro, he had over 200 yards, right? Like, he had some good plays, but he had some open guys that could have led to way bigger plays, and that's the problem. Like, we have to give him time. Yo, Rebel, you catch JT in the break segment on what James Jones was saying? No, but I will check it out right after this. What'd he say? I hope he was saying start Garner. No, I'm just kidding. I hope he was saying put in Amari Gainer, bro. Like, Amari Gainer needs to be in the game. He needs to have way more packages called where he's in the game, especially on rundowns. When there's a run play or a suspected run play or a run down, on short yardage, because 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, bro, our third down package was great. They were 0-7 in the first half, I believe, on third down. So whatever that package is, I believe is with Adam Butler, in there instead of Jenkins. That package needs to be in the game a lot more, in my opinion. And Adam Butler has said he wants to be an every down back, and I think an every down defensive lineman. He wants to be not just in there on third down. He wants to be in there every down, and I think he deserves a chance to get a lot more first and second downs because I thought he stopped the run very well. His quickness, his pressure. I think Adam Butler needs a lot more playtime, and I think Amari Gainer needs a lot more playtime also. What we got in the chat? Let me show this up here. See if I can read it. Everything I was saying, spread the offense out, pass to the weapons. And the co-host said, "Well, wait a minute. That sounds like Aiden O'Connell's game." Hands out, hands down. That's hey. If it doesn't change, it's coming, right? It's coming. Everybody, okay, not everybody, because there was a lot of Gardner Minshew mania, you know, fans out there. But the people that were in the building, most of them, and the people that were in practice, except for the people that just like Garner style, believed it was Aiden's job. And AP's even, I even called him out and said, "Come on, coach, like you can't say it's somebody's job to lose and then give somebody else the job that he didn't lose it to." Like, I know we weren't in practice, but from what we've seen in the preseason, Aiden O'Connell did not lose that job. He looked way better than Garner. 47.6% completion ratio to 71% or 76% from Aiden O'Connell. Like, I mean, it showed. Yes, he had one stupid interception, but that's not enough to bench somebody. He has connections with these receivers, especially Devontae and Jacoby Myers. And most of all, Trey Tucker. Like, even when they asked Jacoby Myers, "What do you think about Gardner getting the start?" He said, "Well, that's our guy. We're going to roll with it." Come on. A lot of these players backed Aiden O'Connell. They liked Aiden O'Connell's aggressiveness. They liked the way he had it, the toughness to stand in the pocket. And he was constantly leading receivers and pointing out, guys blitzing. "Hey, watch this guy. Hey, watch this guy." I don't see Gardner doing much of that. I didn't see any of that really at all in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but we don't have a bully for an O line, bro. Our O line was on skates most of the game. Like I talked about before, 16 pressures, 4 of them from Colton Miller and 2 sacks, bro. That's our number one offensive lineman. Now, if you watch my videos before, or if you're in my lives any other time, I said Colton Miller was not ready. The best chance we had to win was to take a chance and put DJ Glaze out there and Mumford on the right side, bro. That was our best chance to win. And maybe he's ready this week, but he's just not in game shape. Like, Khalil Mack just manhandled that dude. He was really, if you look at it on tape, bro, most of the game, except for a couple, big plays where Colton had, some pretty good stops. Colton Miller looked like a wet paper towel trying to stop a freight train, bro. he was just ran through over and over and over and over again, like, because he was tired and he wasn't in shape and he doesn't know the guy next to him. He's never ever had any snaps next to Whitehair. And even Lincoln Kennedy said it best. He said it months ago. It takes time for the offensive line to gel. I keep saying this. It's like a synchronized ballet. Like, you have to practice together. You have to know the guy next to you. You have to go on, well, I guess on Colton Miller's half, just one side of you. But, same thing for the centers and the guards. Like, you have to know the guys next to you. And when you're Whitehair practicing all camp, with Andres Pete, who is nowhere near Colton Miller, bro, it's good. It's totally different. Like, their blocking is different. Like I said, the right half of the offensive line was horrible in run blocking, but in pass protection, they did the best. They gave up the least amount of pressures. I think I don't know why he only has one, but Mumford had one pressure, which I know he gave up more than that. There was a couple times where the quarterback was, had both of the guys in his face and nowhere to go. So I don't know how they count that. But on the other side, people were saying, Parham played like trash. The dude only gave up 2 pressures. So there was a bunch of times where the quarterback, again, had his back right in his face and he couldn't see or do anything. But Garner, for the reason he started, his presence, his awareness, his knowledge, and his mobility, didn't use any of that. None, bro. Like, you took 4 sacks. Come on, man. Aiden O'Connell only had one game where he got sacked more than twice, I believe, last year, and that was his first game of his NFL career. He was sacked 6 times, and he still almost came back and won that game. There was no time in this game where Garner looked like he was going to come back and win it. I don't care if you want to say the fumble, it still didn't look like we were going to come back and win, in my opinion. So, Garner just needs to be Garner. They need to take the handcuffs on him, off of him, let him roll out of the pocket. The big plays that we had, Minshew Mania, what's up, my 2 cents? Salute. The big plays that we had to Devontae Adams, both the times he rolled out of the pocket. The play we had to Brock Bowers, he rolled out of the pocket. So if you get Gardner Minshew out of the pocket and let him be Gardner Minshew, I think we have a way better chance of winning. And I think we could actually do something against this Ravens defense because let's be honest, that you know, they gave up 2 touchdowns. Their secondary gave up 2 touchdowns to a rookie that everybody in Raider Nation was saying, yeah, he's fast, but he's got to be able to catch the ball. Well, the kid caught the ball, and the kid is fast as hell. So, they couldn't cover him. I don't see him covering Devontae Adams or Jacoby Myers or Michael Mayer or Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, speaking of Brock Bowers, bro, 5 targets is not enough. Devontae Adams, 5 targets is not enough. I know he threw the ball 30-something times, but those little check down 1-2 yard, completions to the backs in the backfield is just not going to cut it. If you're going to throw to the back in the backfield, it has to be a planned play. Like, go watch all over the NFL, the teams that planned it in the playbook, that was the number 1 guy was coming out of the backfield and they hit him on the run while he's running this way, or maybe when he starts his break. But when you go to check down to a running back that runs over there and stops and is just waiting, what are you going to do? You're not going to get any yardage, bro. You can't throw the ball to a running back that's stopped and waiting for the ball to fucking come to him. Sorry, I forgot it's daytime. But, so yeah, you got to make better decisions. You got to, as an offensive coordinator, as a coach, we'll get to that later. But as an offensive coordinator, I thought Getsy didn't call a very bad game. There was guys constantly open. I thought Trey Tucker ran track out there for absolutely no reason. Hey, sack that like button while you're in here. Subscribe if you haven't. If you popped in, you're new to this channel, stick around. Maybe you'll think about liking or subscribing. I never say that in any of my lives, so I thought I'd throw it out there. But yeah, so Trey Tucker was running track out there, bro. Absolutely open. I counted, I think, 4 times where if Garner would have just took 2 seconds to do what he was brought in to do and roll out of the mother flipping pocket and pass the ball on the run, which seemed like he was just scared to do. Like, I don't know. He looked like a deer in the headlights to me, and like he wasn't comfortable. He didn't trust his receivers, which, we'll have to get into that too. But if we can get Garner to roll out of the pocket and, Luke Getsy set him free or whatever the case was, because it looked to me like, he had to stay in the pocket. Like he was told, stay in the pocket, don't turn the ball over. But bro, you can't keep him in the pocket when he's not a pocket passer. If you want a pocket passer, put in Aiden O'Connell. That's the pocket passer. That's the guy with the pocket presence. That's the guy that everybody says is a statue that I've seen move around in plenty of games in the preseason and last year with his feet and make plays over and over and over again. So, bro, like, I don't know. If you want somebody, another thing, handoffs. What is Garner doing out there when he's handing the ball off? I don't know how many times he went to hand off with this hand and then switched to his right hand. Like, I don't know what he was doing, but he's not, like, if you watch other quarterbacks in the NFL, even Aiden O'Connell as a 4th round in his first game in the NFL would hide the ball, tuck the ball, cover the ball, like make it look like you didn't hand it off, especially if you're rolling out. And a couple of those times keep them, because there was plenty of times where Gardner Minshew was scared to keep the ball, where he could have kept the ball, especially on the 4th down twice. There was nobody to the left side. And if he would have just seen the field and had the presence to realize, hey, if I keep this ball, I'm not only getting the 1st down, but I got another 5, 10, 15 yards before anybody gets to me, and they're going to have to catch me from behind. So, decisions like that have to be made, and they have to be made quick. And I thought that is why Gardner Minshew was brought in to be the starter. And I just don't see it, bro. Like, let me know in the chats, whoever's in here still, do you see Gardner Minshew getting better in this offense? Do you think it's because he's handcuffed? Let me know. What's your opinions? I don't remember Justin Herbert having to be mobile against our defensive line, right? I mean, preach. All they did was get better, was get the ball out fast. Seems to me like our coaches should take some plays out of their playbook. All right. So that's all 100% facts. Luda, you always talking them facts, but they're not the only team that got the ball out fast. If you watch Kansas City against the Baltimore Ravens, excuse me, my mouth is dry as hell. Damn. Them dabs just. But if you watch the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens, what'd they do? They threw quick, not 4 or 5 yard slants, 10-yard slants, quick 10-yard slants. That means he's throwing the ball before they get there, right? Because you can't throw a quick 10-yard slant, because if you wait for him to get 10 yards or 5 yards and then start slanting, it's not going to be quick, right? So a quick 10-yard slant is you have to have faith in your receivers. You have to have confidence in your receivers. You have to know your receivers. I guess we'll just pull this up right here. And you have to take shots down the field, and you can't do that if they're not scared or don't have any sense at all that you're going to take shots, because they didn't take any shots over 20 yards, I don't believe. I think Gessie just said in his press conference, which I thought was a joke, that they had 7 explosive plays. Yes, they had 7 explosive plays, but every single one of those plays were yak yards. It was guys making guys miss, are catching the ball on the run, are reaching behind them and spinning and catching the ball and making plays. So a lot of those passes were still short yards, 10-yard passes. Like we can't beat Baltimore if we're just going to throw 5-10-yard passes and run the ball up the middle. Like you're not going to beat any team like that. And I don't think we could beat the Carolina Panthers, to be honest, like that. I think our defense can, but our offense, if we play like that, bro, we're not beating anybody this year. It will be a long season, but I have faith that they're going to turn it around. I think there was a lot of positives. Let's not get into the negatives. Let's start with the positives. Positives are Brock Bowers, bro. Brock Bowers had 5 catches, 50-something yards, broke all kinds of rookie first game records, which could have been way better if they would have just fed him, because there was plenty of times, and I guess this is kind of a negative, but there was plenty of times where he was open too, especially when they roll him out on the sideline and he's waving his hand. Like, bro, hit him on the run, just like they did, to Madison. That play got a touchdown. They had Brock Bowers out there a couple times on the run, waving his hand. So I hope AOC takes over best thing for the Raiders also. Well, look, right now, that is not the best thing for the Raiders. If you watch this channel, or you follow this channel, or if you hit that notification bell. Speaking of notification bell, bro, like less than 10%, I think it's 9% of my followers have the notifications turned on. So if you want to know when I go live, man, tickle that notification bell. Hit that notification bell. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff, so you can be notified when I drop videos or pull up in lives like this, So, but what I was saying, I have no idea what I was saying. Oh, that is not the best thing for the Raiders right now, because Antonio Pierce made a decision, but he wasn't the only one. It was Tom Telesco, Antonio Pierce, and Luke Getsy all made a decision to go with Gardner Minshew, because they wanted to start out hot and they wanted to start out fast. Now, obviously, we didn't do that in the first game, but fast is still 4 quarters, right? If you break the season down, 4 quarters, 4 games, 4 games, 4 games, 5 games, however you want to slice it, 4 games, 4 games, 5, 4, whatever it breaks down to, but quarters. So we have 4 games. Those 4 games are all going to be tough. Cleveland really doesn't know what's going on. You got Deshaun Watson in the media again, getting too many massages or whatever he does, getting the wrong kind of massages, trying to get some happy endings over there. I don't know what's going on, but you got him in the news. They didn't look very good against the Cowboys. I gotta stop disrespecting other teams. That's just rude. Sorry, my bad. But they didn't look very good against the Cowboys. Obviously, Amari Cooper, I don't even think got the ball, but one or two times. So Aiden O'Connell should have been the starter, yes. But they made their decision to go with Gardner Minshew, and you can't change right now. Like, he has to lose games. And yes, 2 fumbles, you can blame that on him, but you can't blame the whole game on him. 16 pressures and 4 sacks is not all his fault. Yes, he's supposed to be a mobile quarterback, and yes, he's supposed to get out of the pocket, and yes, he's supposed to be able to roll around, but he wasn't doing that. Maybe, the first game of starting for the first time in 5 years, the last time he started a game, the first game of the season where he knew he was the quarterback, was his rookie year. That didn't turn out too great. It wasn't bad. He threw for 3,000 yards and 22 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, I do believe, his rookie year. But man, that was his rookie year. And since then, he's been to 4 different teams now. And there's a reason he's been to 4 different teams. And there's a reason he wasn't starter on those teams. And we've seen what those reasons were: fumbles, interceptions, bad decision making, and not being able to move out of the pocket when you're supposed to be a mobile quarterback. Now, I think in his defense that was all coaching, but if you go with Aiden O'Connell right now, it just makes the coaching staff looks bad, the organization look bad, because you chose the wrong guy. We already know a lot of the nation knows he chose the wrong guy. If you wanted to make a splash and push the ball downfield, and somebody take chances and overthrow guys, because he can do that. I don't see Gardner overthrowing anybody, because I don't know. I just don't see him doing that. But a lot of people complained last year that Aiden O'Connell, one of his biggest mistakes was his timing and overthrowing people. But I'd rather have a quarterback that trusts his arm to overthrow people than a quarterback that doesn't believe in his arm and has to roll out of the pocket and make plays with his legs or take chances throwing across his body across the field. So I don't know. You can't switch now. You have to let Gardner, you have to let it play out. Now, if you lose to Carolina, okay, well, then that's a whole nother story, bro. If he starts out 0-3 and they don't go to Aiden O'Connell, there's going to be problems. It's going to be an uproar. YouTube is going to be crazy. The media is going to be crazy. They're already chanting for Aiden O'Connell, which, like I said, I'm the biggest Aiden O'Connell advocate from day one. When I seen him in the preseason, before he ever got to start in the NFL, I was like, why is that kid not starting? Like, he cooked in the preseason. Go back and watch the preseason, not last year, but the year before. That man cooked in the preseason, right? He was better than Jimmy G. He was better than Brian Hoyer. And I was like, this kid has potential. And you can go back and watch Phil Simms breakdowns and all these, beg to differ. Well, speak your mind. You can go watch Phil Simms and all these other breakdowns. They were saying that Aiden O'Connell has potential to be a good quarterback. And then all of a sudden they got Gardner Minshew, and it was Minshew mania. You're trying to sell jerseys, bro. You're trying to sell jerseys, in my opinion. Like, everybody was started jumping on the Minshew mania side. They were like, oh, we're paying him all this money. And I think they were like, well, this gives us the best chance to win. But that didn't give us the best chance to win. You meant for his biggest advocate? Oh, come on, bro. Look, I got proof. Where's your tape? Where's your tape, Luda? Cowtown Luda. Where's your tape? Break it out. But, that was one of the main guys I started talking about when I started doing this 7 months ago, was Aiden O'Connell, and how I thought he was the quarterback of the future. Like, I was, tied for the biggest advocate with Luda, Cowtown. I think the kid still has potential, bro. I love his arm. I like the way he reads defenses. I like the way he's not afraid to lead his receivers. He's not a statue. If he has to run, he will. But they did Look, they did to Aiden exactly what they did to Garner last week. They made him and ran plays for him to stay in the pocket, and that's not his specialty at all. Is staying in the pocket is not his specialty. Gardner Minshew makes plays out of the pocket because they don't give enough throwing lanes. The man's only 6 foot. All of our offensive linemen are 6'5". I think our shortest offensive lineman is 6'4" or 6'5", and that's on the inside. So when you're 3 inches shorter than all these guys, bro, I mean, not 3 inches, but you know what I mean. But when you're that much shorter than all these cats, almost an inch or a half an inch, whatever, and there's no throwing lanes, you cannot throw the ball over them. You have to get out of the pocket. And that's what Patrick Mahomes does. That's what Lamar Jackson does, like I already said. That's what Baker Mayfield does. That's what all these good quarterbacks do, is they get out of the pocket when they feel pressure, but not too soon. The problem in preseason was he was running too soon. Now he's not running at all. So I don't know. There's a fine line in there that these coaches and somebody needs to figure out. Like, where is Garner's line? And if they don't figure it out by week 3 and we go 0-2, and I'm not even going to say the other one, but 0-2, I mean, I could say that because there's a very big possibility we could end up 0-2, right? Let's just be honest with ourselves. Did you hear the Mike in news conference, the Raiders media talking trash about Minshew? I mean, yeah, I heard it. Is it bullshit for our media to be talking trash about Minshew? Honestly, no, because I don't think any of those media are all Raiders media. Like, some of them, I think a lot of them are, what do you call it? Like subcontractor medias, I don't know what the fuck flipping word I'm looking for. Independent. That's what I'm trying to say. A lot of those guys are independent too, or they work for NFL Network, or they work for CBS. So a lot of those guys in there are not Raiders media. So for them to voice their opinion, I thought it was hilarious, bro. Like, to be honest, I don't know why people are mad. Like, speak your mind, bro. I don't like when people, try to beat around the bush or sugarcoat shit. Like, I think it was, funny that it was an open mic. It would have been better if they would have came out and did an interview and said, bro, I think this dude, I don't like him, like blah, blah, blah. But I thought it was kind of funny, like, to have an open mic and to get busted like that. But for them to be saying, like, Garner's going to get his ass kicked if he plays like he did last week, yeah, the bro's going to get destroyed, right? Because you got Roboquan Smith over there at linebacker who's going to be blitzing and blitzing and blitzing. Not to mention their defensive line. Like, I can't even say the names of those guys, so I'm not even going to try to mention. You know who they are, right? Like, the Ravens defensive line. Come on, I ain't got to tell you. But sign another running back or put Dylan Labe on the damn roster, bro. Like, he's on the roster. Like, why is he a scratch? He was a healthy scratch. I don't understand that. And what did Abdullah do? He still, I think he had 22 yards on a kick return. But bro, Dylan Labe could do that. Tyreek McAllister, where is Tyreek McAllister? I want to see. Okay, to get to the positive sides, because I keep getting off track reading these damn chats. Y'all distract me. But no chat reading. Let's get to the positive side. Positive side is we have weapons all over the field. Like, Kansas City beat the Ravens by running jet sweeps, double reverses, running the ball to the outside, passing the ball to the backside of the outside, and also hitting the middle of the field. Now, I just got done watching tape before I came into this live. I, was breaking down a bunch of shit that the Baltimore Ravens were doing, how they were running their offense. And like I said, 52.7% of the time last week, they were in 12 personnel. So our defense should be very, very, very key to what is going on in 12 personnel. Yes, there's a lot of different, shit you can run out of 12 personnel. You can run all kinds of different schemes. You can make it look like 13 personnel. You can make it look like 22 personnel. You can make it look like, whatever you want, 21 personnel. You can make it look crazy. It's like you can mix it up. And they did that. Man, you always distracting me. No, I don't know. Joe Alt held his own, but we'll get to that too in a minute because I got some shit to say about that too. But yeah, like, so we have to do pretty much the Kansas City Chiefs in our division showed us how to beat the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens had, like I said, just Lamar Jackson alone had more passing yards and almost as much rushing yards as the whole entire Chargers team last week. So if we can't tackle guys and you got guys like Divine Diablo, out there again, like I said, couldn't tackle a mannequin in a Macy's store, like 7 tackles, 2 of them gave up points, a touchdown, and a field goal. You can't have that from your starting linebacker when you have 7 linebackers. Like, why is he on the field that much? After the first or second tackle for a loss and giving up the touchdown, he should have been on the field less, in my opinion, but I'm not the coach. That's just my opinion. Farm Bay requires gates be open to have success. What does this mean? Now you just trying to distract me because I said I wasn't going to read that shit or what? Damn it. But yeah, I thought Joe Alt, man. I thought Joe Alt played his ass off, right? He went up against Max Crosby. He went up against Snowden. You know, he went up against Tyree a little bit before he got hurt. And I thought, for the most part, he held his own. Like, there was so many plays where I seen him kind of manhandle Max Crosby. He wasn't falling, for this and the juking and all that stuff that Dylan Labe was doing on the beach. And we'll get to that in a little bit also. But I thought the kid, for talking shit and talking trash and, saying he wasn't scared of Max Crosby, blah, 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 whatever he came out and said in the media right off the bat, I thought, showed a little fire and a little heart. And I kind of wish we had more offensive linemen like that, in my opinion. Like, I like Munford and DJ Glaze. I think DJ Glaze has a little bit more dog in him than Munford does, in my opinion. But none of them, they're both soft spoken. I don't know what they're like on the field, but I know DJ Glaze in one of the interviews was very upset, and so was Munford about Max Crosby constantly chirping in their ear. But I haven't seen nobody stand up or be that guy. I thought it was great that we had one offensive lineman, Colton Miller, the veteran, out there bumping chests with guys, talking a little smack, doing his thing. House Junkies, what's up? Salute, salute. Thanks for pulling up. Appreciate it. But yeah, what do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. What do you think our keys to victory are? And what do we need to do to have a chance to beat the Ravens? Because I think, Lawrence, what's good? What's good? Salute, my brother. Like I said, I think we need to do and emulate exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs did. Throw the ball to our weapons. The Chiefs have one good tight end. They don't have 2 like we do. We have 2 great tight ends, and we showed Brock Bowers can catch the ball. He can make big plays. And we seen, if you go back and watch the tape, I know it's hard to watch because it was a loss. I had to watch it like 3 times. I watched the offensive line, the defensive line, the first time, and then the running backs and the receivers and the defense. So yeah, after 3 times of watching the game, I thought there was spurts where there was a lot of guys open. We just have to have a quarterback with the awareness to hit those guys. And I think, they're going to correct a lot of things. Both coaches said there's a lot of things that can be corrected identity-wise. I think we got an identity on defense, but we already had an identity on defense. We knew we were going to be a smash mouth, physical, in your face. The defensive line was going to get pressure of these quarterbacks. Like I've been saying all year. I'm not trying to gloat, but I've been saying all year, these quarterbacks that are great, like Justin Herbert, aren't going to have 300-400 yards passing against us because they're not going to have 5, 6, 7 seconds to throw the ball because the defense is going to be in their face nonstop constantly. And it's just up to our corners and linebackers to make tackles and cover guys, right? That's the whole point of the game. So they showed that against Justin Herbert. If you would have told me that Justin Herbert was going to have 144 yards passing in the game and we were going to lose, I would have told you bullshit. I'd bet whatever you wanted on it. Like, anything I got. I'd have put my bike on it. I'd have put whatever. So yeah, that was pretty good for our defense. But if you'd have told me that their running back was going to have 10 carries for 130 yards, I would have said same old Raiders. We can't stop the run. And I thought Christian Wilkins was supposed to come in to do that. But also on the other hand, Jenkins out there, Jenkins' PFF grade was in the 80s, but I don't know why, because there was a lot of plays where the running back ran right by that guy. So I think we need to definitely clean up the run game with Lamar Jackson. Joe Alt limped off the field. What? Let's see if he runs his mouth and plays after getting bitch slapped. Bro, did y'all see, speaking of Joe Alt, so did y'all see what Christian Wilkins did to that kid? Man, dude showed him welcome to the NFL. That was definitely his welcome to the NFL moment. I think just picked him up, pretty much put him on his back. And there was a couple times where, he just had that big boy on ice skates, just, walking through him like he was nothing. So, yeah, but for being a rookie, being a first round pick, you were picked, what, 6th overall, 5th overall, whatever it was. Like, you should be able to come in right off the bat. But to come in right off the bat against one of the best, not one of the best, but two of the best, Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby, to come in and do what he did, man, hands off to that dude. Kudos to him. The kid showed heart. He showed fire. Like, even with the fight that was going on and breaking out, like, he was running over there, pushing guys after plays. Like, he's running in, hitting people late, which I didn't really like. But, I like the fire and the tenacity. And speaking of fire and tenacity, we have a kid like that in Jackson Powers Johnson, who's just dying and tickled pink, right, to be a Raider, but can't seem to get on the damn field. This guy needs to get on the field, bro. We have to have him on the field. Like, 2nd pick overall, cannot be missing games, especially when you got a guy like Whitehair in there who gave up 4 pressures, I believe, 3 pressures. I don't know. I think Andre James gave up 3, but that's another thing. But yeah, Whitehair is just not it. There's a reason he was a free agency, kind of like all the guys we signed. There's a reason they were free agents. They just ain't it. They not it. Like, and another thing, I don't know what the hell his name is. I can't think right now, but Chasen, I believe Chasen. Why the hell did we sign this guy? I know he was a former 1st-round pick, but bro, he hasn't done anything for anybody, and he was released by the worst team in football. The worst team in football, the Carolina Panthers, who have the worst ranked offense, the worst ranked defense in the NFL, and you couldn't make it on that squad. And the Raiders take a chance, bro. Like, not everybody, like I said, is going to be that Jack Jones. Like, we got to stop hiring these guys that maybe are going to be somebody and go bring in some guys with the cap money we have. Because let's face it, Devontae, if this quarterback situation doesn't get figured out real quick, bro, Devontae's not going to be here next year. They're not going to pay him next year the money he's owed, and he's not going to want to be here. Like, let's just be honest. So, make a trade, go out and get somebody. Like, if this ain't, but we have to do something really quick. You have to make your best player on offense, which is Devontae Adams, happy. You have to make Jacoby Myers happy. And word on the street is the San Francisco 49ers are trying to steal Jacoby Myers from us. Yes, San Francisco 49ers, I do believe, have acquired to trade for Jacoby Myers, and the Raiders said, no, refused. Thank God, because Jacoby Myers, in my opinion, a lot of people want to say he's 3 or a good 4 receiver or a good 2nd receiver, bro. I would take him as my number 1 receiver all day long. I have him on both of my fantasy teams, and it's a shame that he doesn't get more targets. But if he got as many targets as Devontae Adams, he would have just as good, if not better, numbers because his yak yards are better. His catching percentage was better. And he had just as many touchdowns as Devontae, had less yards, but on like 40 something or 50 something less targets, I do believe. So, man, that's what I'm talking about. Joe limped off the field. What else we got? Get into the chat. What's good with y'all? One thing professionals do is make rookie talkers pay in blood, right? Wilkins said, "Welcome to the NFL to the rookie." Yeah, but he wasn't talking shit about Wilkins, right? He was disrespecting Max Crosby and talking about Max Crosby. And I thought Max Crosby did not show out. And, one negative I forgot was if you look at all phases of the game, there was really not one phase defense, offense, receivers, running backs, special teams, offensive line, defensive line, corners, linebackers, besides Robert Spillane, that did anything and shined and showed out or was, above average. Like it was a pretty much average game. Like, yes, the defensive line started out good. Yes, they got lots of pressure. Yes, they forced a lot of 3-and-outs. But you expect that. I mean, I expect that. So to me, that's just average. That's not like nothing big. Why does this camera keep moving and my head keep disappearing? So yeah, I mean, I just expect that out of the defense. So we didn't really shine in any aspect, in my opinion. And I think that's, comes with time. But when you have coaches that say they have more snaps, and they're not the only one. Hondo Carpenter, a bunch of reporters have said the Raiders have taken over 1,000 snaps. That's almost equivalent to a whole entire season in training camp. Is some of that catching up to these guys? Because, they got tired in the third quarter, not just the fourth, but third and fourth quarter, they started getting worn down. But you would think if you had that much, that many reps, that you would be ready to go and we wouldn't be this far behind on the offense. Yes, the defense is where it needs to be, besides, minus tackling from Divine Diablo, Trayvon Moreg, and Marcus Epps, bro. That ballet show they were doing with McConkley was just ridiculous. They got schooled by a rookie and it's horrible. Bro, I just got home from work, but I'm here. Rick, what's good, my brother? Thanks for pulling up. Yeah, we just breaking down what we need to do to win. Go back and watch the replay. I'd appreciate it for sure. But yeah, we're talking, negatives and positives pretty much of the game. But the main thing, which is we'll get into right now because it's been about an hour. And then I'll get into the chats and get everybody's questions. Give me a minute. But the main thing is this a do or die win situation in week 2? And I know you're going to be like, man, you're crazy, bro. How you going to say this is a do or die situation in week 2? Well, hear me out. The Chargers, of course, I want to know. Kansas City Chiefs, I want to know. Us and the Donkeys, Broncos are both 0-2. I mean, 0-1. The Kansas City Chiefs got to play the Bengals, which their Bengals defense, let's be honest, the Bengals defense is not all that. Their offense looked very, very, very sus. They couldn't get their run game going like us. Their passing game was suspect. So Kansas City Chiefs pretty much are going to win that game and start out 2-0, barring a miracle. Then you have the Chargers, who didn't play very well and beat us somehow. The numbers just don't add up. I looked at it over and over and over again on paper, and there's no way we should have, even with the 2 turnovers, we still should have found a way to win that game, but we didn't. And they're going against one of the worst teams in the NFL, both offense and defense, and the Carolina Panthers. So more than likely, barring another miracle, we're going to have 2 teams in our division start out 2-0. And if we don't beat the Ravens, we're going to start out 0-2. 0-2. Let's break that down. 265 or 268 teams in the NFL have started 0-2. Out of those 268 teams in the NFL, only 30 have made it to the playoffs starting 0-2. So, is this a do or die? Let me know in the comments below if you think this is a do or die game for the Raiders, and is it definitely a must win? Because like I just said, 268 teams have started 0-2 and only 30 have made the playoffs. You want a percentage? It's 11 flipping percent, bro. 11%. So I know miracles do happen. And, you have teams like our own Antonio Pierce was on that snuck into the playoffs and beat an undefeated, Tom Brady and a Patriots team. So miracles do happen. Shit can happen. But do miracles happen to the Las Vegas Raiders? Let's be honest with ourselves. Come on. How many miracles do we actually receive? So let's get into the chat, see what y'all got, what y'all talking about up in here, up in here. Junkies, I got you. Joe Alt limped off. Professional, know where we stopped. We got maybe Clayvon needs an attitude adjustment. He is the last shot. Pretty better to play like it if he's the last stand. If what? Oh, if it's his last effing stand or die. Bro, here's the thing. The kid has all the potential in the world. But when's he going to get on the field? Like, is he better than Charles Snowden right now? I don't know. Can he tackle better than Charles Snowden? I don't know. But he has 5 sacks in his NFL career. And he's going on what, his 6th year, 5th year? He was the first overall pick that's never put it together anywhere he's went. Could it be the coaching staff? Could it be a change of scenery? Yeah, it's a friendly attitude, and the Raiders want people to just be themselves. But how is that working for us so far as an organization? And how is that working for Antonio Pierce, letting these players be themselves? Like, I know there's a bond between this team, between the coaching staff, the players, and all the way around. But there's got to be a line between coaching and friendship. You can't be a coach and a friend at the same time. There has to be a disciplinary part where guys are held accountable. And I don't know if they are, but we'll find out next week if anybody was held accountable for their mistakes and don't get as much playing time. I'm not going to say any names, but the dude couldn't tackle a mannequin in a department store. So, yeah, I agree. Reading the chat is distracting. I would set a timer and hit the chat in segments. Hey, good advice. Good advice. I can't help it. That's why most of the time I'm looking down and it looks like I'm not looking at y'all or looking at the camera and talking directly to y'all. But I'm talking directly to y'all because there ain't nobody else in here but y'all. But a lot of time I'm looking at the chat because I don't want to miss anything good, especially if I'm running out of shit to talk about when I'm on my points. What else we got? We should trade Devontae before the draft. We could grab a QB. Here we go. Look, is Devontae happy? I don't know, man. I know he loves the Vegas part of it. His kids are happy. His wife's happy. His family's happy. His grandma gets to go to games. He's close. He's on the West Coast. So unless you trade him to the San Francisco 49ers, which, hey, is a good point because didn't they just acquire Jacoby Myers? So, these cats have hit us up about Jacoby Myers. Maybe Devontae could go to the 49ers. Do they have a quarterback we could get from them? No, because I don't think they're giving us Brock Purdy, and I don't know who they got behind him, but I don't think he's better than anybody we got. I'd rather see Aiden get a shot. But Devontae Adams, in my opinion, and this is just me, this is just hair space, speculation, Raiders Rebel, talking off the lip. I don't think Devontae's happy with Gardner Minshew, to be honest. If we look at the press conferences, if we look at interviews, if we look at him on every show he's been on, and he's been on a lot lately, every time they bring up Gardner, he refers back to Aiden O'Connell. He refers back to how Aiden's coming along, how Gardner and him need to work on timing. It takes time, but he keeps talking about how Aiden's coming along and how Aiden's leadership, how he was talking trash out there, how he was starting to, run his mouth in practice and not let these guys just come out there and talk trash constantly like Max Crosby. He was starting to come into his own, and he's constantly bringing up Aiden O'Connell, but he was never asked about Aiden O'Connell. He was asked about the quarterback situation and the quarterback battle. So I believe there was a chemistry with him, like I've said over and over again. There was a chemistry with Devontae Adams. There was a chemistry with Jacoby Myers. There was a chemistry out there between Michael Mayer and Aiden O'Connell, towards the end of the season. Him and Trey Tucker started developing a chemistry, and I think they made a mistake. This is just my opinion, by taking that chemistry away and starting Garner because of his experience and that he's mobile. And that's just my experience because he hasn't done anything to show that. But, I don't know. Who are we going to trade for? Who's got a quarterback that they're willing to give up? And don't say TJ Hooker or DJ Hooker or Hendon. What the fuck is it? Why did I say TJ Hooker? What am I talking about? Yeah, I just showed my age and shit. TJ Hooker. If anybody knows who TJ Hooker is and what TV show that was, drop it in the chat. But anyway, fucking hate saying but. What quarterback? Let me know in the comments, bro. Drop it in the comments. Drop all the comments you can. Hit them likes. The more comments you make, the more we get in the algorithm, the more people come in here, and the more conversation and debate we have. So let me know. Let me know. First time listening. TFG, salute. What's good? Thanks for pulling up. I appreciate you. Hit that like button if you like this content and stick around. Maybe you'll think about subscribing or hitting the notifications to find out when we drop more content. I do videos, I do lives, I make shorts, just anything to do with the Raiders. So thanks for pulling up. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you. So yeah, quarterbacks, man. Let me know. Quarterbacks. Who are we going to trade for? What quarterback are we going to get? Because nobody's going to give us a quarterback. We have to realize that the NFL and the owners talk. And speaking of this, is going to be off subject. Never mind. I'll just finish what I'm going to say, and then I'll get to that. The owners talk. They go through and they talk to each other. They talk about players. They talk about players in free agency. They talk about players in the draft. These guys conversate. Like, they go through it. So they know what teams need, what they don't need. And they all hate the damn Las Vegas Raiders, bro. They've hated the Raiders organization for I don't know how long. And nobody in the NFL is going to trade us a quarterback, even if they do get Devontae Adams, that's halfway decent and make us better, because they don't want us to get better. They're scared to get better. They know that this defense is absolutely scary. And if it can just keep coming together and, stopping the run, if they can just figure out how to stop the run, it's a playoffs caliber defense and maybe a Super Bowl caliber defense, but we have to have an offense, and nobody's going to give us that quarterback. There's a reason nobody went with Gardner Minshew, and 32 teams in the NFL didn't want Gardner Minshew, and we took him. The reason why we took him, I don't know. I'll never know. Like, they wanted competition, right? Well, they got competition, and he didn't win the competition, and they decided to go with him. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to a lot of the nation, but he's our quarterback, and we have to support him and pray that he does better, right? Because I don't want him to do bad, because if he does shitty, then we lose. So he has to do better. They have to work on whatever it is that we didn't do last week, and in my opinion was hit the open guys, hit the open receivers. Like, there was open receivers time after time. Roll out of the pocket, be Gardner Minshew, be Minshew mania that everybody was so excited to see, that didn't show none of that. There was no flashes of it. There was no running. The only running he did was up the field for a yard and a half. Somebody hit his foot and he fell for 4 yards forward. But come on, man. Like, you're supposed to be an athlete out there. Like, somebody tapping your foot is not enough to trip you up. You should have, like, hop, jump, spin, done something, like, afterwards, kept your balance, and he had all kinds of yardage. But the second play that he actually got out of bounds, that he actually ran out of the pocket, he ran from Bosa. He could have turned it upfield, decided to run straight out of bounds. Didn't gain a half a yard, didn't even get back to the line of scrimmage, I don't believe. Like, I think he was short of the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, we can't have that at all. And nobody's going to give us a quarterback, dude. Nobody's going to trade a quarterback to the Las Vegas Raiders, not even for Devontae Adams. And it's got to be a West Coast team. Like people keep forgetting this. There's a reason he's not in New York right now. It's too far from his grandma. You know, his grandma's up there in age, bro. He doesn't want to be far from her. He wants to be around her. He wants to be able to visit, and that's too far. She can't come to games, and that's a big part of why. Damn, holy shit, I missed a lot of chat, but that's a big part of why Devontae wants to be there. You're gonna trade him to the Chargers? Come on, after they called him a Pop Tart and put him in a trash can and then held him to 52 yards. Honestly, like real talk. But let me get to this. I'm just rambling. Got to be honest. If we don't win this game against the Ravens, it's going to be a long year. I know. It's going to be a long year. But that might not be facts because, my guy, Rick, if we don't win this game against the Ravens and we struggle, say we even win, but we struggle against the Carolina Panthers, I don't see Garner being in there. If it's the offense that struggles, I don't see him being in there. Like, you have nothing to lose, right? If you start out 0-3 or 1-2, 1-3, you have nothing to lose but to put Aiden in. And we've seen what Aiden did last year when he came in. He almost saved our season. So if they are smart, they will not wait till week 7 or 8 to bring in Aiden O'Connell and try to be the savior of the season. Do it right off the bat. 3-4 games minimum. That's it, tops. If this offense isn't clicking by 4 games, pull the plug, bring in Aiden, go get a quarterback, do what you got to do. But don't scratch the season. Don't fucking try to tank like everybody's saying to go out and get a quarterback in the draft, because I don't think we're going to be that bad. But like I said, they predicted us to win 6 games. So, I mean, it's not possible. Like, there's a lot of teams that we are worse than on paper. I mean, not on paper, but just the way our offensive looks with the quarterback we have and the situation and the offensive line, there's a lot. So I say that what? I have to say that Governor looks like a big boy. Who? But when it comes to him trying to tackle, he went flying off other dudes. Oh, Will Governor? Yeah. Governor, I don't know what that was either. Like, Will Governor was a great tackler, and you could see from our defensive backfields back there that they were not great at tackling. Absolutely not good at tackling. Like, I think Trayvon Moore got absolutely juked out of his shoes not once, not twice, 3 times, maybe 4. I think it was, but 3 times on film, wide as hell. Like, so when the Raiders go back and watch this film, you might have to question on putting Polamalu in there a lot more, in my opinion. Like, if he's not getting turnovers. He had a chance to catch that ball. Yeah, it hit the ground, but in my opinion, that ball could have been caught. It could have been an interception, but you can't get whiffed on like that. You can't whiff on players. The safety is the last line of defense, bro, and your last line of defense can't tackle. And then you got Marcus Epps, who I think 5 different times, 3 times tripped over the defensive lineman when he was trying to come in and stop the run. Like, the dude come in one way and just completely trips over the back foot of the lineman and gets trampled on. And the dude runs for, I don't know how many yards, but way too many. So we gotta shore up tackling. Like I was talking about earlier and got distracted. But when you have over 1,000 snaps, that's equivalent to a whole season pretty much. When you have that many snaps and you still can't tackle, bro, that is absolutely scary. Like, I don't know how, who's watching this or who's going to watch it, how knowledgeable they are of football. But, bro, when you have that many snaps and you're still that bad at tackling, how many is it going to take before they can tackle? Because obviously that's not their strong suit. And we need guys in there that have that as their strong suit. We need Trey Taylor to get back bad, like, because that man was a missile. I don't know why they, let Will Governor go. He was one of our leading tacklers in the preseason. They're hoping on these guys, DeCameron Richardson, who's now hurt with a hip. MJ Davonshire. They're counting on these guys to step up, and they're just not showing it. They're 6'2", 180 pounds, 86 pounds, whatever. Like, bro, that's not going to cut it in the NFL. You're going to get trampled on. Like, you have to bulk up. You have to wrap up. It's not that hard to hit somebody in their feet and wrap your arms around them. So, I just don't understand how NFL players can make that much money and not be able to tackle, bro. It's just absolutely ridiculous. He got Gardner Minshew. Why would he be happy? That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not, bro. There's no way he's happy. He showed in the reality TV show on Netflix that, you know, I don't want to be here. They're gonna kill me. I'm gonna lose my life. I gotta get out of here. All that shit he said. Joe Milton, Malik Willis, a dual threat QB. Okay. Didn't somebody just trade for Malik Willis? I believe somebody just traded for Malik Willis, but Joe Milton. Let me finish what I was talking about. I gotta get distracted. But anyway, Garner's not. I mean, DA is not going to be happy because Garner throws too many tombstone balls. Now, yeah, he threw him a couple good passes, but the one pass, where Asante Samuel was covering him, and he put his hand out, laying on the ground, and tried to get pulled up for the first down, was an absolutely lucky throw. And if it wasn't Devontae Adams he was throwing that ball to, I guarantee you that ball is picked, 9 times out of 10. Like, and there was a couple that he threw a little bit high, but that's he's not going to be happy somebody throwing him hospital balls. He's talked about the timing before, and he wants to win. And we're wasting his career. This is a Hall of Famer receiver, and it's not fair for the Las Vegas Raiders or any organization to waste his talent if you're not going to throw him the flipping ball. Like, if you don't have a quarterback that has faith in one of the best receivers in the damn NFL ever, who's he going to have faith in? So, yeah, you have to make Devontae happy. 5 touches is not going to be happy. 5 touches for Brock Bowers is not enough, in my opinion. And we have a lot of weapons, so they're going to have to not run the ball so much. They're going to have to strategically, pick their points of when they're going to run the ball, and they're going to have to run the ball outside to the hashes and try to, get some fucking yards to the sideline out there and move the chains, but they can't run on first down, run on second down, and expect Gardner Minshew to make plays standing in the pocket, which is not his strong suit, on third down, and expect him to get first downs, because that's not going to happen. We got a lot of first downs in that game. We got a lot of big first downs in that game. There's a lot of positives, but the run game has to step it up, and that's on Getsy. Like, he had a solid run game everywhere he's went. In college, Mississippi State, he had a dominating run game. They were best in the country, and that's with all the SEC everything. So, in Chicago, they were first. Yeah, a lot of that was with Justin Fields. They were first, in rushing, second in rushing the year before. So, bro, you have to get on the ball. But let's get into this, because I asked which quarterbacks. Joe Milton, Malik Mills, dual threat quarterbacks. But do we want a dual threat quarterback? Because they're trying to make Garner stay in the pocket right now as it is and stop his dual threat making. Is it just because they're scared that he causes too many turnovers? When he runs out of the pocket, he loses a lot of fumbles. He makes a lot of dumb decisions, trying to be Superman and play superhero ball, which we don't need. Joe Milton has an absolute amazingly strong arm. And if you go back and watch some of my videos, I was talking about Joe Milton in the draft. I really like Joe Milton's arm, and I think, he has all the potential in the world to, if he has a right quarterback coach, somebody like Gruden, or, somebody like, one of these McVay over there in the Rams, one of these good coaches that are quarterback, drawn coaches, get a hold of this guy, can really, really have a lot of upside. But however, on the other hand, if butts were nuts and nuts were butts, we'd all be fucked. I keep saying but. I don't know why I say that. Excuse my language. I hate that. But however, Joe Milton is a dual threat, and he can run and make plays with his legs. but his decision making also has to be worked on, and he's not the answer right now. And a rookie quarterback next year, not everybody's going to come in right away and be CJ Stroud. Not everybody's going to come in right away, get to sit for a year and be Patrick Mahomes. We need a quarterback now with this defense, because this defense has a lot of guys that, if they keep playing the way they are going to get want to get paid a lot of money. And you can't pay those guys a lot of money if you have a $60 million a year quarterback. You just can't afford to keep all these guys on the roster. So we have to make a decision. Are we going to let a lot of these guys on the defense go, flop the season, or, try our hardest, but still lose because we're not that good, and go for a quarterback? But there's a lot of teams that are going to be way worse than us. And where are we going to pick in the draft? And is it going to be enough where we pick in the draft to get a quarterback that's going to be able to come in and start right away and be that number one guy and take us to the playoffs right away and win us games? In my opinion, no. I think we have that in Aiden O'Connell sitting there, and we need to put him in now and let him play out the season so we know at the end of the year, because Gardner's not long term. There's a reason he was signed for 2 years. There's a reason 29 teams didn't want to take a chance on Gardner Minshew, or 31 teams, and the Raiders decided to take a chance on him. So, no, that's a quarterback, trading for a quarterback, yes. If we can bring him along and he can sit, then definitely. But I don't think the Patriots are going to get rid of Joe Milton. And like I said, Malik Willis, I think he just got traded from wasn't he with the Giants? I don't know. I think he was with the Giants. Let me know in the chat. But, I mean, those are two quarterbacks that I would definitely put on the roster. But as you can see, Lamar Jackson, 120-something yards rushing on the ground and 270 yards passing, still lost to a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, who didn't do near as much on offense. But they won the third down battle. They won the penalty battle. And they they let Lamar run all over. So that doesn't mean you're going to win ball games. They held Travis Henry to 54 yards rushing. That's because Robo-Quan back there, at linebacker, is not going to let teams run on him. That dude is way too fast, sideline to sideline. He hits every single A, B, C, D, E, F, G gap there is, before the running backs can get there. So that's another thing, another big thing. I gotta get rid of this thing. It's pissed. Oh shit! Don't do that. All right. Anyway, man, we've been on here an hour and 20 minutes. Anybody got any comments, any questions, anything I didn't get to? How about Jaden Grant? They never brought him back. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't bring him back. But I'd rather have, Wu Governor in that situation. I'd rather have Wu. I think Wu's a better tackler. He's a better playmaker. He was constantly around the ball. But yeah, he had too many. He got beat too many times. You can't get cooked like barbecue chicken out there, Jalen Grant, and expect to be on a roster or even a practice squad. Was this PFF is probably propaganda? I know. For by Jerry Jones and manipulate the off-field navigations for the effective players. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get into all the politics. Our guys can tackle. Who? I think it became more of a heat exhaustion issue. It was hot as hell out there, I'm not going to lie. And adjusting to the game speed, bro, I don't know, because there was a lot of plays, more than one or two or three, where F's whipped. I've been saying for 2 years now, Divine Diablo is not it in the run game. That dude, bro, like I'm not going to keep dogging on him, but man, you can't have that many tackles and be a starter when you got, I thought Luke Masterson played decent. Um, but when you're jumping off sides and then trying to get back, and then you still have a chance you had your arms around the guy and he just walks through you for a 10-yard touchdown, bro. Like, I don't know. You got to get off the field, in my opinion. Tennis did. I don't know what that means. DA stood there crying instead of going after the Minshew fumble. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Like there was no hustle, and it was sad to see Colton Miller instead of Devontae Adams, our superstar hero, big man, 6'8", 320 something pound Colton Miller be the one to chase down Khalil Mack and tackle him, bro. That is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, like, look, I'm with you. If Devontae doesn't want to be here, trade him. But you can't trade a guy of that caliber on a team that has no quarterback, because you need a quarterback to help bring them. You need him to help bring the quarterback along, right? Hit that like button, nation. Facts, facts. Hit that like. Salute, salute. If you pop in, pop out, hit the like button. It doesn't hurt you, but it helps me tremendously. Also, if you missed any of this, go back and watch it. Go back, watch my other videos, and please watch them to the end. I need watch time. Watch time. Hit the like button. D-Menace in the building. Best mod. Salute, salute. What else we got? Trying to get into all these chats. Defensive guys say the main thing is to make the quarterback eyes drop, aka focus on the rush instead of looking up to find the open receivers. What? Who says that? No, 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 no. Bro, look, your eyes should not be focused on anybody around you as a quarterback, for one. That's why you have an offensive line. That's why there's a number of offensive linemen, because I have to break this down on film one day, but when they start to go back, they fold out to protect the shield, right? So the offensive linemen are forming a wall around that quarterback. And if you look at the best quarterbacks, again, we've said this over and over again, they stay in the pocket and they know when that pocket is collapsing. It's not because they're looking at the guys next to them, because if you're looking at these guys next to you, you have no idea if your receivers are open, aka Garner Minshew. Like, you can't be looking at the guy, the offensive lineman's coming at you. You got to have faith in those offensive linemen. And if they don't do their job and protect you, you can't be a bitch. Take the hit, bro. Take the hit. Like, don't be scared. And if you're a mobile quarterback and you're out there because you're a mobile quarterback, then there's no reason you shouldn't be able to feel pressure closing in and step up in the pocket, step out of the pocket, roll out of the pocket, do whatever you got to do. But the best quarterbacks in the NFL, that's why they're the best in the NFL. They can stare downfield. They can go through their progressions. They're not scared to look first progression, second progression, third progression, fourth progression even, which a lot of quarterbacks don't have time to look at your fourth progression. But a lot of guys still look to their fourth progressions because they're like bam, 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 bam. I thought, whoever was commentating the Raiders game, they were pointing out, Garner, that's a great job by Garner Minshew. He looked at this progression, looked at this progression, hit his running back on the run, and it was a touchdown. Bro, that touchdown was Madison jumping over those guys. It had nothing to do with Garner. Yes, he threw the ball there. Yeah, he gave him, a chance to catch it on the run and make a play. But if you look on that play, he didn't look over and then look again. He looked one time, and Devontae Adams had his man beat and was getting ready to just smoke him up the field. It would have been a wide open touchdown. But instead, he didn't have faith in his arm, in my opinion, that he had Devontae Adams beat, and he turned and checked down. Yes, we got lucky and it ended up in a touchdown. Great play by Madison. Kudos to him by hurdling over those dudes. That's some hard shit to do, concentration right there to maintain your balance, stay in balance, and make it up the field. But you know, it's sad, like you said, that Devontae is not even going to try to tackle. But I've been over this before. I don't want to call him a prima donna, but bro, there was a bunch of plays last year, and not just on the Netflix, but if you go back and watch tape, where Aiden threw pretty nice balls, and he just stopped running because he was like, bro, if I run and catch this, I'm gonna get lit up. And he didn't want to get hit. Like, you can't not want to get hit as a receiver, bro. That's your job. You're gonna take hits. So D Menace, salute, salute. Defensive guys, main. What do you think about Desmond Ritter? Bro, I like Desmond Ritter a lot. I thought with the Falcons, I thought he made some big plays. He's definitely more mobile, I think, than Gardner Minshew. Like, he definitely has some games where he brought him, it was the Falcons, right? Am I wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong. The Falcons where he brought him back in some games where they were losing pretty good, and he came back and won. So, he has that big game capability, the tenacity to come back. To Cool Kev, what's up? What's up? Salute, salute. Didn't see you. He has the tenacity to come back, to stay focused and make big plays. Like, I think it definitely wouldn't hurt, but it also wouldn't hurt to keep growing Carter Bradley. Like, if he's on the practice squad, grow that kid, because I think that kid has some potential. Like, he has that, muscular build that you need nowadays as a quarterback to be able to take the hits. I think he's pretty mobile. He's not like the fastest guy out there, but he's not scared to run or make plays, and he's not scared to throw the ball where it needs to be thrown. He's not worried about losing his job, because he was third string. Maybe that helped in preseason. He could just go out there and just let loose, but I don't know. Samir White is better inside runner than outside. Stop running toss sweeps to him. I I don't know. I think he's fine outside, but you got to run toss sweeps. If you're going to run toss sweeps to him, you got to have a quarterback that's able to sweep, to fucking throw the sweep. Like, Gardner Minshew looked horrible, and I'm not nitpicking, because I love Gardner, and people are going to think I'm nitpicking on Gardner. I'm just a Gardner hater, but bro, the facts are the facts. If you can't fake a handoff or make a toss sweep look like, it's like it's not a toss sweep, but like you're keeping the ball, bro, you shouldn't be a quarterback, and you shouldn't be like, that's one of the main things as a quarterback, is to be able to fake and make the handoff look like it's not a handoff. You got to make the defender, the whole fucking point of rolling out and to do bootlegs is to make the linebackers think that you're keeping the ball, or just for a split second wonder if you're keeping the ball or if you're handing it off. And he doesn't do that. Like, he just fucking holding it out here and just letting go. Like, bro, that shit like that like needs to be fixed. And it has to do with our coaching. I love Rick Scangarellos, however you say his name. He was with the Raiders before. Now he's back. He was, with the 49ers. I think he's a decent quarterback coach, but man, some things got to be cleaned up. They just got to be cleaned up, right? Epps ain't it. No interceptions in his career. Bro, I mean, he's a very knowledgeable safety. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, at the end of the day, when you need a fucking guy to make a stop because you're the last line of defense, he doesn't do it, bro. It's not him. Like, he whiffs. And same thing with Trayvon Moore. I love Trayvon Moore. That's one of my favorite players on the Raiders. But more and more and more, I see him just not wanting to tackle. And that's just heart, bro. That's like, I'm tired. My body's sore. I don't know what it is. But there was a couple plays where he just stopped. And especially the running back, where, the biggest play they had or whatever, he completely just stopped. Bro, you're run and dive and hit. If you miss, you miss. But at least look like you attempted to make a tackle. But when you run and stop and just let a guy roll right by you, and you're looking at him like this, and then you start chasing, and you have Max Crosby, who's not even close to as fast as you, outrun you to the ball, and and you have a guy like Nate Hobbs, who's not the fastest guy on the team, outrun you to the ball when you're the one that got beat, bro. Like we can't have plays like that from our safety room. I think Palomalo needs to get a lot more play time out there. I definitely, think he's good in the slot, and playing that nickel position, but I think he needs to play a lot more safety because I think he's a better tackler. I think he's not afraid to throw his body out there, and I think he makes better decisions when it comes to tackling, like breaking down. His technique is just better all around. F's outa. I mean, yeah, bro, he should be, bro. But that's another. There's the coaches just. I think it became to a point, and I hate to say this, bro. I hate to say this because I love this team and I love Antonio Pierce and I love all the players and shit. I mean, you already know. Raiders for life, right? But I do believe that it comes to a point where you can't be friends with these guys to the level that they are becoming friends because when it comes down to making roster cuts, I thought there was a lot of guys that made the roster that were veterans. And I'm not going to name names. Go back and watch my videos. I said who they were that shouldn't be on this team, that weren't helping, that weren't, you know, they weren't giving anything to this team at all. But maybe, a couple of tackles on special teams or a tackle here and there on third down or on second down. Like, and there's young kids, like Eldon Smith and we brought back Snowden, but those guys like Gainer and guys like that, people like kids like Wu Governor, I thought, Sam Webb they brought back, but there was a lot of guys out there that showed they can tackle and make plays, and they let go. Now I don't know if it was shit in practice. They didn't show up every day. They didn't bring it every day. They weren't the first one in the building. Coach just didn't see it in them, but you know Epps and Trayvon Morrig played 97% of the snaps last year. And if those guys back there tackling the way they did are our last line of defense, if they keep tackling like that, bro, it's going to be a long, long season. Like, we need Trey Taylor back there. We need explosive safeties. And I'm hoping that one of these guys we brought in that are on the practice squad can step up and start taking some of these reps when it comes to, rundowns, because when it's a run situation, these guys need to be off the field, bro. They have to. Like, we have to work packages, where it doesn't matter if they know we're in a run defense because they can still cover. So, right? These guys can still cover. So, let them know we're in a run and let them try to pass on us. That's fine too. But take out these guys that cannot stop the run and are afraid to step up and smash mouth. You're preaching over and over again, smash mouth, ill intent, physicality, violence, which we've seen how that ended up at the end of the game with the Chargers game. Sometimes violence isn't always the answer, but most of the time it might be. I'm just saying. Who is in charge of the decision making with the team? Well, that's a good question, Lawrence. That's a damn good question because they hired Antonio Pierce first, right? And Tom Telesco has said he's building his team around what Antonio Pierce wants to do, right? So, I mean, that's a great question, bro. I don't know. I don't know. Like, you would think Antonio Pierce when it comes down to the roster moves, but you know, when they asked him what we're gonna do about uh the tragic, damn, we couldn't afford to lose Malcolm Kuntz, being out, and then now you're down another one with Wilkins. So when they were asked about that, he said Tom Telesco's working on it. And then you went and got this K Lavon, whatever his name is, Clavon. You went and got this dude. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know who's in charge. Marvin Lewis, I don't know what Marvin Lewis is doing, but he needs to definitely get with AP when it comes down to third down decisions. the fact that we went for it in the beginning of the game and tried to show our identity and failed is very disappointing as a Raider fan, but should be very disappointing for the players as well, because they have to and it should be very disappointing for Luke Getsy as an individual for calling a play that couldn't get it done. Because when you take a chance like that in the beginning of a game on your own side of the 50-yard line and you don't get it, and then it makes you intimidated and doesn't put enough faith in your offense for you to go for it on crucial situations, which every coach in the last however many years since 2016, what's that, 8 years? So in the last 8 years, every single coach but one has went for it in that situation, down by 7, ball on their side of the field, and you decide to punt. So, you know, Marvin Lewis, those guys need to be in his ear, and they should have been in his ear then and being like, whoa, 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 let me do this. But it could be AP saying, no, I want to do this. And, Tom Telesco is definitely not out there when it comes to games. He's just charge of personnel, and he's trying to get the guys that AP wants. But does AP know the kind of guys he wants? Because the fact that they kept 6 or 7 linebackers really shocked the hell out of me. I thought we needed another offensive lineman or two, and probably another defensive lineman, and definitely another corner. So I thought maybe 4 max at the linebacker situation, and now they bring in another guy that's kind of a linebacker, kind of hybrid defensive end. Really hasn't done shit. So man, I don't know. That was debacle. Yeah. What else we got? All right, man. Well, I'm about to get off here. Tyree needs to focus on playing, though. He ain't special, bro. His power and strength is, bro. Do you see the size of that dude? He's a mammoth man. Everyone has critics. Be a Raider and use your hate to make shit happen. I mean, when you're that big and strong, yes. But bro, my guy, anger doesn't cut it. Anger isn't always the answer. Some people, when they get angry, they make better decisions. Max Crosby uses it for motivation. Other people, when they get angry, they make dumb decisions, and it costs them, it ends up being huge mistakes and cost them dearly. So, that all comes down to a lot of things, but technique, bro. No matter how big and strong you are, you can't rely on your strength and your size, pause if necessary, but you can't rely on strength and size to get you through every down in the NFL. Teams are going to key in on that. They're going to understand that that's all you have and you have no technique, and they're going to double team you, and they're going to, run all kinds of different formations at you, and they're going to run your way and make you, try to have technique to stop shit, and they're going to use it to your disadvantage. So, yeah, you definitely have to have technique in this business. But right now, you have to worry about your knee because we don't even know what's going on. And if you can't walk, you ain't tackling nobody. Man, I like this guy, bro. This is one of my new favorite guys. Can you come in all my lives? Because you actually have good questions. I'm just kidding. I love all y'all. Just playing. But yeah, why didn't we keep Marshawn McCall? Like, bro, that is a great, great question because I was saying the same thing. And I know this is your first time pulling up in here. And if you have any Raider fans or know any Raider fans, share this channel. We trying to grow, and I can't grow without y'all. So definitely share the channel. But Marshawn McCall, I thought, had a chip on his shoulder, being cut and released by the Carolina Panthers. And I thought he stopped the run pretty damn good when it came to preseason. So that goes back to, me saying, that goes back to me. Hey, appreciate it. That goes back to me saying in the beginning, like, is Antonio Pierce keeping guys when it came time to make decisions, that he liked more than guys that he didn't? Because I thought Marshawn McCall should have made the roster over Byron Young. And I thought when they released Byron Young that they were going to bring Marshawn McCall back because, dude, he's a little bowling ball. He's a plug when it comes to the run game, and he takes up a lot of space in the middle. And definitely, we need somebody to clog space in the middle. You got to clog the holes, right? Pause if necessary. So, yeah, I definitely think Marshawn McCall like should have been brought back, and I think he should still be brought back to the practice squad or whatever. Like I don't, I thought, like I said, Byron Young, he should have been over that guy, and then I don't know, I'm not too keen on Jenkins. Like I like Jenkins, but he can't get pressure. He's just a big body. Same with him. Like his technique's not the greatest. So, you know, I don't know. I think we should definitely be making moves on the interior and getting guys that can tackle instead of trying to get guys to replace guys that we know are probably not going to come back, for the rest of the season. What else we got? Let's see what this says. Great show, Raiders Rebel. At least I can start AOC on Madden. Everyone have a great day. Right. Facts, my brother. Shout out. Share the live. If anger is used for the right reasons, it won't hurt you. I mean, yeah. That's why I smoke trees, bro. Like trees, bro. Trees. But I don't know. You can use it to motivate you, but also even that way, there's still ways that it can hurt you. I'm not gonna get into it and break it all down because I appreciate everybody showing up. And as always, man, I love every single one of y'all. We got to 900. How did I forget that shit, bro? We are at 900 subs. We are 100 away from 1,000, but we need watch time. So if you're bored, I made a watch list or a playlist, whatever you call it. Got a couple videos on there. If you haven't already seen them, man, put them on while you're falling asleep. Let the watch list run. Help out your boy Raiders Rebel. Get that watch time. Get monetized so we can do bigger and better things for the nation, right? As always, much love. Raiders. We out. Peace. Doses, baby. Doses.